So Princess, she's amazing. And what she said to me, we have this policy, within 6 months. She said, because a lot of times people are great in the beginning, then you start seeing them die off. So I was like, all right, Princess, but she's great. She's great. Oh, Lord, Princess was so right. And so I wanted to thank you for having that policy. So I was able to come back and hire somebody. I appreciate that. I would have thought, I was robbed of my money. You know what I mean? I really needed some help, right? It was just a lot going on. Someone told me about your organization. So I said, you know what? Why not? I did like the fact that all the fees, everything was paid up front. There was no hidden fees or anything. You knew exactly what you were paying for. You know exactly in the process. It was very straightforward. You have a 6-month policy, right? And so I started noticing some changes, just like Princess said I would notice if it wasn't the real deal around maybe month 4. But I said, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm being too hard. Maybe it's this, maybe that. So other girl that I work with, she was like, no, no, no. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. So, oh my God. So I said, I remember the policy. I said, let me call Princess real quick. And so Princess said, okay, no worries. Let's get it on the calendar. And she knew how crazy sometimes my schedule is, so she would just continue to follow up. She never let up until I scheduled it, but she wasn't mean about it. She was very understanding. Came back this time, I knew exactly what I wanted. I looked at the resume. I said, that's not going to work, and I told him, I said, I want you guys to take your time. And so that's what they did. They really found outstanding candidates. I can't say that none of the candidates weren't outstanding. They were. It's just when it was time for the interview, we had to see what would be best for the organization. And they was like, okay, so where's your top 3? And we were like, oh my God, it's so hard to pick. They were all great. And so we just went through that process. The experience have been fantastic. I mean, I would recommend this thing to anybody at this point, because even though things may not have worked out with the first person, you guys still gave me an opportunity to come back and find the right fit. And I really appreciate that.
And for anybody watching this, the 6-month policy is the 6-month replacement guarantee we have, where you don't have to pay a second fee to replace somebody. If you hire someone that's not the right fit, you can come back as many times as you need to in order to get the right fit. And we'll make sure, we process those very quickly, because we know your business is going, so we need to replace them ASAP, especially if it's a replacement.
The experience has been fantastic. And I believe your team really walks you through it. Like this afternoon, I had a meeting with Adam to just go over onboarding. Even though I know it, I mean, that's something that you guys offer, where you're not left alone after you even hire the person. They tell you what systems to use to do tracking and different things like that. So you're really not left alone. Like I stated, when I had an issue, I emailed Princess. Princess must have emailed me back in within an hour. Like, I mean, they're just on it. You're never alone. And I think that is for me, because I'm so used to people trying to con people, things like that. But I think that you've really opened my eyes to virtual assistants. These companies can be really, really great if you have the right company that you're working with. The price is great. And I actually went up on the price a little bit, because, I'm saying, wow, the value. First of all, I say this amount, and I said, I'm gonna give them $1 or $2 more, because I see the value. And I think that's what it is. You're able to sit there and hire very qualified people, because people want to work. They seem like they know what they're doing. They're very experienced. And you were speaking about language. There was really no language barrier. I really think the guy that I just hired, I said, man, he has to be from like Miami. I said, because he's so he's so clear. Like there's no I can't even tell that there's an accent. And that's why I said, do they go to some type of schooling or something where their accent is gone, where they can just sit there and speak freely? They understand what I'm saying. One of the things that I wanted this time is somebody who be able to speak on the phone or help me take meetings and things like this. You would think this guy's in Miami. I'm not even joking with you. I was just amazed that there's truly no, to me, language barriers with the candidates that I've interviewed.